The mystery machine rattles along a dirt road. It hits a bump, causing a battery cable to disconnect. A plane flies low overhead and lands. What does this plane contain? Let's find out. Welcome to Mysteries in the Machine.
Meddling kids, I'm Charlie.
And I'm Ethan.
And the back of the mystery machine is opening up. Who's here today with us?
It's me. I'm Josh. I'm not sure how I got here, but here I am.
Here you are.
We're so glad you're here.
We are indeed very glad you're here. Listeners, Josh reserved this episode and the other Batman crossover later on this season months ago. So he was very excited to come on for this. So Josh, give us your pronouns, your history of Scooby-Doo, and why you picked these episodes in particular.
Sure. So my name is Josh. I use he, him pronouns. My history with Scooby-Doo starts in the elder days, I guess. Not the real elder days, as in, the 70s when these episodes were coming out. I wasn't born until the 90s. But for as long as I can remember, Scooby-Doo has been with me. Like my first or second ever birthday party was Scooby-Doo themed. I had Scooby-Doo plush on my bed until I was way too old to have stuffed animals on my bed. No shade to anyone that still has stuffed animals on their bed into adulthood. If you do, make sure there's at least Scooby-Doo themed plushies, I feel. I dressed up as Scooby-Doo for Halloween when I was really young. And then when I had a younger sibling who was old enough to wear that hand-me-down costume, I went as Shaggy. When my mom first got like a first generation iPod, she downloaded all of the Scooby-Doo episodes from that first series from iTunes. And so I would steal her iPod and I would just watch all of the Scooby-Doo episodes over and over again. We had a few of like the direct-to-TV movies on VHS growing up. My favorite was Ghoul School. I also had one that was Scooby-Doo meets Batman, which I always thought was one of those later 90s like direct-to-TV movies. But it wasn't until recently, like within the last year or 2 years maybe, that I realized that that's actually from the 70s, the new Scooby-Doo movies. And they just took 2 episodes from that series and put them together on a VHS and threw it out in like 2002 or something, so much later. But then other of like the direct-to-video movies that I didn't own but would watch a lot as they aired on Cartoon Network. Notably The Witch's Ghost, which is one of my favorites. Cyber Chase, which was probably the one that scared me the most as a kid. And then, of course, the real live actions that aired in the early 2000s. So I've just all Scooby-Doo media across all types. Every year, at least, once or twice a year, we'll look up what current streaming service all the Scooby-Doo shows are on, and we'll binge a bunch. So Scooby-Doo is one of my favorites.
Good. So you picked these episodes because they were on that VHS where they combined those two into like one special?
Correct, yeah. Because I also, as much history as I have with Scooby-Doo, I probably have more history with Batman. And having these two combined together is best of both worlds for me, I feel like. But also because of these 2 specific episodes, I've just watched probably more than any other piece of media in my entire life, I feel like. The Caped Crusader Caper, which is going to be the second one, probably a little bit more so than this one, the Dynamic Scooby-Doo Affair. That one I like a little bit better. I can't really put my finger on why. But yeah, when you guys were announcing this podcast, and after I listened to the first episode, I was so excited. I reached out to Ethan. I was like, please let me come on the show when you guys finally cover the new Scooby-Doo movies and get to the Batman crossover, because I was just so excited. I can talk about Scooby-Doo and Batman, but specifically Scooby-Doo meets Batman forever.
Of course.
Yeah. I do want to know, have you seen there's like another Scooby-Doo movie where he is with Batman. This the Scooby-Doo Batman, the Brave and the Bold? Have you seen that one?
Yeah.
I have not seen that one.
I think that came out... Oh, that came out in 2018. So yeah, that's a more recent one.
That's the most recent one. I think that's the only other Scooby-Doo media, at least. Unless there's an episode of something else where they meet Batman. Actually, there might be a Scooby-Doo and Guess Who episode with Batman as well.
Okay.
That I'm remembering.
I haven't seen any of like the newer, like really anything that was released after those live actions.
Okay.
Maybe a couple here and there. But I was looking up some just like fun facts and stuff about these about this specific episode. And one of the things that I thought was funny was it was like they mentioned by name the Riddler, who never appears in these movies, but they called it like foreshadowing of the Riddler appearing in Scooby-Doo Brave and Bold 40 years later, which I thought was very interesting.
Hey.
Yeah. I don't know if that's foreshadowing necessarily, but
yeah,
it was a good good on whoever was making that particular Scooby-Doo movie to, kind of go back and see the other Batman crossovers that had happened.
Yeah, it's like they didn't know about existing Batman media or comics or anything, that the Riddler was an established character. That like, oh, it's more of just it's not just a name drop of an existing other Batman villain that could have made an appearance. It's really just foreshadowing that will be fleshed out 40 years down the road. I thought that was hilarious.
Sure.
Yeah.
Okay. Oh, but I would say for more modern Scooby-Doo media, if you haven't already, you need to check out Mystery Incorporated, because
Mystery Incorporated, that's the last series that I like really kept up with. That ran from I think 2010 to 2013, maybe a little bit longer than that.
Yeah, 2010 to 2013, right on the money. By far one of the best Scooby-Doo TV shows in existence.
It's closer to Zombie Island in the way that the monsters are real. So it's definitely more supernatural.
It's a little bit like 50-50. Right. There's some supernatural shit. There's some people in costumes. There's an overarching plot. It's like the only, or I should say, like the second Scooby-Doo media that has an overarching plot. The first being 13 Ghosts of Scooby-Doo. Which
Charlie's super excited for us to get to. I've heard it's good. I just have no idea what it's about. So.
Oh.
I think
so happy when we get there.
Yeah, I think the last show that I watched, at least as it was coming out, was What's New Scooby-Doo. And I think recently I went through like a deep dive on all of the different theme songs and like ranking them and stuff. And I can't remember, like when I got to the Mysteries Incorporated one, I think I was just like let down about how it compared to the rest.
Lyrics. There's no lyrics in the Mystery Incorporated theme song. So I can understand why you would think that, because like in terms of like the song itself, it's not the best, at least not compared to Where Are You, this one, and definitely What's New Scooby-Doo. That's my personal favorite.
Yeah. It has the vibes down, but no words. So
yeah.
Well, as you guys have started the new Scooby-Doo movies, what are your thoughts on this series theme song?
I mean, I can sing along to it. I have watched so many episodes of this show before already. I love this theme song. Ethan?
I came into the series blind. I've never seen any of the new Scooby-Doo movies, or pretty much anything up until like some of the like direct-to-video movies that came out in the late 90s and early 2000s, like Cyber Chase or Zombie Island or Pirates Ahoy. That's when I remembered watching too. But this one I think has very similar vibes to Where Are You? But because of nostalgia, I like Where Are You a little bit more.
Yeah. This theme song and then the Scooby-Doo show are a bit more like upbeat, like, hey, Scooby has a show! Woo!
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's
My
very
favorite part. My favorite part in this theme song is when the gunslinger like shows the gunslinger and he pulls out the gun and he shoots the shots into the air to the beat of the music. Like,
right?
Yeah.
I love that.
Hey, Edgar Wright had to get inspiration from somewhere.
It's some good shit.
Another question for you. I know I'm not the host, but I just want to keep talking. What are your histories with Batman, if any?
Okay. Charlie, you may want to go first.
I was gonna say, I don't have a whole lot of history with Batman per se. Like I've consumed Batman media, of course.
Sure.
I don't think I like really got into Batman until I actually had a course in high school where we got to talk about comic books and we read The Dark Knight Returns.
That's awesome.
Oh, that's one of the best Batman comics out there.
Yeah. So like before that, I was just kind of like, Batman exists. I've seen these episodes of Scooby-Doo. They're cool.
Mine is much more of a detailed history, so.
And then like I've seen some Batman media since then, of course. Yeah. I enjoyed the Batman, the movie.
Oh, the Robert Pattinson Batman?
Yeah. Oh, and what was the cartoon that I watched that everybody told me to watch?
There's a Batman cartoon that just came out, Batman Caped Crusader. I don't know if you watched that.
Okay, I watched Batman the Animated Series because
that's a great one.
I did watch that one. I have more history with like enjoying Harley Quinn a lot, but
valid. Well, that kind of segues into my history with Batman because that is where my history with Batman begins. Is the animated series, because it was on Cartoon Network and things like that. But I also I didn't watch Batman Begins when it came out because I was 5 years old. But I think I was at a really good age to watch The Dark Knight because that came out when I was 12. So no, not 12, 8. The Dark Knight Rises came out when I was 12. It was one of the first like really intense movies I remember seeing. And I've also seen, the original Batman movies, the Tim Burton ones, as well as the Val Kilmer and George Clooney movies as well. Didn't really like the first iteration of the modern DC Batman. Ben Affleck was not my favorite. I did like Robert Pattinson a lot more.
I refused to watch Ben Affleck.
He's not the best Batman. I would have loved to see him more in a Batman Beyond type of role as a mentor instead of an actual Batman. Which, Charlie, Batman Beyond, if you want to give that a chance, that's a good show too.
Isn't that one like... Is that the sequel to like Batman the Animated Series? Like kind of? Like,
in a way.
It's later.
Yeah, because there's
a new guy.
Yes, this new guy takes up the role of Batman. Bruce Wayne is his guy in the chair, so he's like, telling him, this is the best way to do things, and things like that. And one of the first graphic novels I purchased was Batman and Court of the Owls, which, if you ever get a chance to read that, I would highly recommend it.
Oh, I forgot. I also watched Gotham way back in the day.
Yeah. That's more of a Jim Gordon story than a Batman story, but...
Batman appears for like 2 seconds, doesn't he? Right at the end?
Yeah.
Oh, I did not watch the last season. I'm not gonna lie. I did give up on it.
There was a proto-Batman where it was like a teenage Bruce Wayne with the cowl that didn't have any ears. It was weird.
Why not?
I watched that show, and I was just stunned. I guess it like hooked me. It's probably the most soap opera-y show that I've watched. And I'm just like, this show has so many wacky resurrections out of nowhere. I just don't get it.
When you have a Lazarus pit, things are bound to happen.
Yeah. I've seen more than I would have remembered, but it's mostly because like I don't see a lot of Batman focused media. I feel like But I mean, like Lego Batman movie, that counts.
Sure. There's a series about the Penguin in the Robert Pattinson Batman universe that's coming out right now. I have not seen it, but supposedly it's pretty good.
Oh, get on it! That first episode was great. Oh yeah.
Okay.
I'll have to do that then.
Good to know.
I mean, if you enjoyed the Batman in 2022, and if you enjoyed what's his name, Colin Farrell as the Penguin.
Oh yeah, I mean,
then
Colin Farrell's
it picks up right with where that left off.
Yeah.
Same vibes, same everything. It's so good.
Though I heard Clancy Brown. Clancy Brown is in it as Carmine Falcone, which anytime I get to see Clancy Brown in a non-animated role, I'm here for that. Charlie, I'm assuming you know who that is.
Yeah, it's Mr. Krabs.
Okay. But yeah, that kind of yapping a little bit, but that's my kind of history of Batman. It really kind of picked up with the release of the Nolan Batman movies. And that's what kind of got me interested, as well as the animated series. So
awesome.
I did see some of the Adam West Batman back in the from back in the 60s, because it was on TV.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's what I was going to ask about. If you'd ever
watching.
Yeah, if you'd ever touched any of that. Because
not a whole lot. Not a whole lot.
Yeah, I was going to ask about that because the Adam West Batman is obviously what the Batman and Robin in this Scooby-Doo episode draws from. It's just so heavy-handedly Adam West. Even the voice actors sound like the actors that play Batman and Robin in that show. Right.
Though it is not actually Adam West. I didn't know that. I thought it was him.
Does a good job at sounding like Adam West. But and it's also, I didn't realize it until this time watching it that Robin is the same as Shaggy.
Oh, really? Casey Kasem is Robin. That's crazy.
Yeah. It's so crazy.
But they do such a good job at mimicking those vibes of the Adam West show. Specifically, what Robin, all of Robin's little quirks and one-liners, like holy Houdini, or, always having some exclamation to say about anything that happens on screen.
Right.
That's ripped straight out of the show.
I do know that much about the Adam West Batman.
Do we think?
I'm pretty sure it's Dick Grayson. Pretty sure.
Yeah?
Do you really think Jason Todd would do something like this? Or Tim Drake? So I don't think they've been invented yet.
I don't know. There's a lot of Robins. There's so many Robins.
There's at least 5. And then in the modern Batman comics, you have other non-Robin Bat family members too.
There's so many.
I don't even know all of them.
Carrie Kelly's my favorite Robin, though. The most important Robin.
The Dark Knight Returns Robin?
Yes, the ginger one.
I think that's where she is, right? Okay. Yes. Of course she's a ginger.
Listen, she bought the costume and was like, I'm just going to be Robin now. And I adore that.
Similar vibes to what Miles Morales did. I wonder if Lord and Miller read The Dark Knight Returns before they had Miles do that.
All right. We need to talk about
Anywho, we've been talking for 20 minutes about everything but this episode. It's fine.
Because this episode is wild. Okay. We got to get into this. So, where is the gang going? Because I know you wanted to talk about what the heck they were doing before they got involved in this mystery. Where are they headed?
Yeah,
today?
I had a couple thoughts about that. They are headed to a mystery club convention. To me, this says one of two things. This implies either A, there are several clubs like Mystery Incorporated in this universe, or B, is trying to do a sting operation to get them for vigilante justice.
Ooh. All right.
Possibly.
This is just entrapment.
I mean, Ethan, you watched Mystery Incorporated. You know that one episode where they're literally at that mystery club gathering.
Right. Yeah.
That's what I'm envisioning, because that was just a bunch of different Hanna-Barbera cartoons all together.
Right.
And a bunch of those Hanna-Barbera cartoons are mystery solving groups.
True. But these are the most famous ones, far and away.
Yeah. I mean, obviously.
What?
but it was like
I'm looking up the
other...
episode.
Yeah, honestly, that's like the least plot relevant. The only episode that has nothing to do with any of the plot of Mystery Incorporated is that one episode.
Mm-hmm.
But that's absolutely what I'm envisioning they're going to.
Yeah, let's see. Speed Buggy, Jabberjaw, Captain Caveman. Yeah, they're all there. Okay.
And Speed Buggy shows up later in the series.
Indeed, he does.
I love Speed Buggy. He's just a little guy.
I wonder if Speed Buggy and Herbie had a crossover at some point. That's irrelevant, but
well, one of them is live action.
And they could animate Herbie.
True. I don't think they have, as far as I know. I'm not going down this rabbit hole.
I didn't think the Three Stooges were animated until last week, so
That's fair. That's fair. All right. The gang happens upon a mystery, as they often do. There is a plane flying without lights, which so many hazards going on. Is that possible to do? That sounds terrifying.
It's possible, probably really, really hard.
Yeah. Somebody has to be skilled here.
So it does appear that it appears it's light enough outside for them to see, though.
I guess
I don't know anything about animation, but watching this, it struck me at how bad these animators are at making it look like it's dark outside when it's nighttime.
Yeah.
Don't worry.
For those first several segments, I just thought it was the middle of the day, and then all of a sudden they're like, well, the plane doesn't have any lights on. That's a hazard in the middle of the night. And I was like, oh, so it's nighttime. Okay, I'm rocking with you. But the rest of this show, I think, also takes place mostly at night. And I'm just this doesn't look nighttime whatsoever.
Yeah, I thought it was dusk at the beginning. So
there's no explanation for what time of day it is. This often happens in Scooby-Doo. They just have problems with lighting in the old stuff. Last episode, I was complaining about how it's supposed to be during the day in the desert because they're complaining about the heat, and it looks like it is fucking nighttime. What is going on here? So the plane lands. There's a Jeep that comes out of it with a guy. He drops something off at this random-ass farmhouse in the middle of nowhere. And the plane goes away.
Nothing suspicious here.
Nothing suspicious. So the gang, they walk into this house because it's unlocked, but also breaking and entering, guys. Come on.
They do that quite often, though.
Yeah, quite often. So what's weird about this house? Why is this not a normal house?
Everything is bolted to the floor.
This is not suspicious whatsoever.
No.
Not at all. Actually, the only thing that isn't bolted is the rug that Scooby and Shaggy end up hiding under.
Right.
But,
did you have any thoughts or predictions or anything? This is the first kind of hint at what the mystery was.
Yeah, what were you thinking, Ethan?
I had no fucking idea. I did think, that's weird. It's probably important. Didn't know what to do with it, though.
Did you have any idea what would happen later?
No. No idea.
Little did you know.
This house can turn over.
Here we have our first shenanigan, I think, where Scooby and Shaggy are trying to find some place to hide here, but there's not anywhere that's great to hide. Shaggy can't even lift up anything off the ground to defend himself, and they end up hiding under this rug while the rest of the gang is behind the crate.
Yeah.
And who should enter but our Caped Crusader?
Indeed. The dynamic duo themselves.
Caped Crusader and the Boy Wonder. Mm-hmm. And, of course, needs no introduction. They see their silhouettes, and the mystery gang is just, it's Batman and Robin. Because in universe, they know who these vigilantes in Gotham are. Don't even know where they are in comparison, in relationship to Gotham. But
supposedly Gotham is in New Jersey, so maybe they're also in New Jersey.
I don't know. Right now, they're not that far away from Gotham, apparently. So that's where they are right now.
I just imagine because later in the episode, Batman and Robin take them blindfolded to the Batcave, and in my head I'd like to imagine that it's a 24-hour road trip, and they're just in the back of the mystery machine blindfolded that entire time.
Mm-hmm.
That would be funny. Also, we gotta mention how we get like the Batman like logo for like the commercial break moments, like the in and out.
The transitions.
I love that so much.
The animators did their darndest to make sure that this felt like an episode of the Adam West show, and I think they did it really well.
Yeah, they certainly did. And now Batman and Robin are on the case. They're trying to figure out what the heck's going on too. There's someone else in the house. Fuck, maybe it's the person who owns the house, guys. You are trespassing, in fact.
Okay, but all of them thought that the house was abandoned because they just walked in.
Fair. And then who walks down the stairs? But Mrs. Baker, just a normal old lady. She's got a pink dress, she's got a purple cloak, and she's got a little lantern. Poor sweet old lady. Or is she?
They're like, we saw men deliver a crate. And she's like, men? Here? Never.
Oh, dear.
Like, obviously, men would never show up in her house.
Yeah, she's a lesbian. Why would they be there?
Girl boss. I mean, honestly, she is a girl boss. Literally, based on this episode.
Yes, a girl crime boss. Be gay, do crimes.
So she's like, I don't know what's in this crate. What's going on here? So we open the crate. What's in it? It's just a punch clown. Nothing going on here. Obviously, this is our next shenanigan where Scooby has to punch the clown and realize it's going to punch you back. That's the whole point, bud. But you'll love it.
Then Scooby punches its head off, and there's a bunch of money inside.
But never mind the head. Look at the bread, as Shaggy says. There's money. Indeed. But it's not real.
I have actually seen what Batman says as a meme out of context. I had no idea that that's what it was from. It was from this.
There's a meme about this.
Yeah,
like
there's
Batman is the greatest thing.
Yes, it's like Batman is the greatest detective in the world. Oh, how do you know? President Lincoln never wore a turtleneck sweater.
I've never seen that meme, but I've been saying that my entire life. Like, there's only one problem. Like, whenever, like, in any situation where I can say, like, oh, there's one problem. And I'll follow it up with, President Lincoln never wore a turtleneck sweater. I've never even seen that meme. That's so funny. But I've been saying that forever.
It's somewhere out there. I've seen it.
This episode is so quotable. Just has... Yeah. I don't know where it falls in, like, the most one-liners per episode, but for me, at least, I feel like this has more quotes than your average Scooby-Doo episode.
I'd agree.
Oh, yeah. This certainly... so many iconic quotes. All right. So we're like, we have counterfeit money, and those guys probably brought it here for some reason. We should go figure out where they put the car or something. And they find the tire tracks outside. And Mrs. Baker's like, oh, they probably drove it to the auto junkyard down the road, which is right next to the cemetery. And the spirits apparently haunt the junkyard. Because of course they do. Ethan's just shaking his head. Like, what?
I am in complete and utter befuddlement.
Yeah. Why? Just because...
What city manager puts a cemetery next to a junkyard? What?
I don't know.
Who does that? Also, Robin is wearing green ballet flats, but nobody's going to bring that. Nobody brings that up.
Who puts a farmhouse in the middle of nowhere? Yeah, he is. He sure is. Listen, Robin has no pants.
He has
but nobody
shorts.
Brings that up either. He's not wearing shorts.
Nope, he's got his green tighty whities. I think they're green. And then either skin-colored leggings or just his bare legs.
I hope it's skin-colored leggings because that's a little gross.
I'm pulling it up. I think that's what it looks like in the Adam West show.
Yeah.
I think that's why it has to be Dick Grayson, because I think that is like the classic Robin look where he just has no pants whatsoever.
Yeah, but they could have given him shorts instead of a Speedo.
No, that was the classic look, and it was really weird, and I don't like it.
I get he's an acrobat, but like acrobats wear more clothes than that, right?
Also, he didn't have. He could wear leggings. Like Batman has pants on, and he also has the Speedo.
True. I mean, this was the golden age of trunks outside the suit. So
yeah, the good old days, you know. We wore
though
underwear
in the
outside our super suits.
Yeah, though in the James Gunn iteration of Superman coming out next year, he does have the trunks. They were gone. They're back now.
I'm so excited.
I know.
Good for him. All right.
I just want a Superman that's not dark. It's not that hard to make a nice person
Another
be Superman.
Another reason why I was like not touching most of that DC EU franchise at all, because like Batman was weird, Superman was weird. I watched Wonder Woman because girl boss, and yeah.
It's a shame Gal Gadot is not a good person.
Yeah. Oh well, Chris Pine was in those movies. Chris Pine makes everything better.
This is true.
Alright, we are at this auto junkyard. Batman has to explain how compressing cars works to Shaggy, and we get, I feel like this is a Chekhov's gun moment. This is just like, well, that's gonna happen at some point now. It's gotta happen. Wonder who it's gonna happen to. Or almost.
Shaggy's like sitting on the little block, and Batman's like, what you're sitting on might have been a 4-door sedan. And Shaggy's like, talk about a compact car. Just a great line.
Listen, Shaggy has dad jokes for days. I love it.
And that's why I love him.
Again, Bard. Alright, so Batman and Robin are like, you know what? It's dark down there in that pit. We're gonna search in there for this bad guy. This is the most obvious choice to do. But apparently the rest of the gang don't understand this. Because they're like, what the fuck's happening, guys? Who's up there? Who's messing with the crane? What's going on?
Yeah, Robin says, like, I'm going to take my bat light and attach it to the top of the crane. Didn't he say that right in front of them? Didn't they know that he was going... I'll have to go back and... But to me, it's like, they're all standing together in a group. Batman's like, I'm going to go down there. Robin is like, I'm going to take my bat light up to the top. And then as soon as he gets up to the top, Fred's like, wait a second, there's someone running up there. Who is that?
Yeah. It's like, I feel like this entire, like, who's who? Who's where? What's going on? This is a shenanigan of just like, what is happening, guys? No one is communicating or paying attention, apparently.
I added it to the count. We're good.
You're welcome. And in the confusion, Scooby and Shaggy are just, like, scared of everything in this junkyard, so they hide in a car. But somebody is also on the crane working it besides Robin. And this is dangerous. So the car is picked up and, going to be put into this pit. Batman luckily catches what is happening and gives them his bat line. Because we have to put bat in front of every single word to make it Batman themed.
That's just a hallmark of the Adam West era.
The bat line. I know,
Batman,
it's great.
Or the bat shark repellent.
Yep, I remember that. That was from the TV movie, right?
Yeah.
Charlie, do you know about the bat shark repellent?
Yes, I know about this. Is this the same... Did they also do the surf contest in the movie? Or was that a different... Was that like an episode of the show or something? Okay. Those are the things that I remember about that era. Bat shark repellent and Batman and Joker doing a surf contest. So Scooby and Shaggy are safe. They've gotten out of this car just as it is being dropped and compressed into here. Meanwhile, Fred is like, wait a second, I've realized Robin was over there. Batman is down here. Who's
driving the crane?
Who's driving the car? What's happening? And so he, like, attacks this person who is using this crane, and the next time we see him, he has the hood over him, and Batman and Robin are, like, trying to tear him apart. So, some shit happened. We almost caught the bad guy within how many minutes of this episode? Like, 15 minutes? Yeah.
10, 15 minutes, yeah.
So close, guys. We almost did it.
He's like, as soon as I walked in, someone threw a hood over me. But that's not exactly what happened. You could see in the previous cut, he goes in and grabs the person from behind and they wrestle. and then it cuts to him having the hood over him. So he could have said there.
Which, like, given the context of what happens later, Mrs. Baker has to do, like, CrossFit or something. Because, like, how
Seriously?
is she, like... Yeah, like a 70-something-year-old woman able to subdue a teenager and put a hood over him.
I mean, we'll probably get to this, but I was thinking that they pull the hood off at the end. It's Mrs. Baker. I mean, spoiler alert, but that's the only other named character with, like, lines in this. It's obviously her. But then I was expecting them to be like, well, Mrs. Baker can't ride a unicycle, and they pull off, like, her face, and it's, like, the Riddler or the Joker or something, you know?
Yeah.
That would have been hilarious, though. Obviously, only the Riddler can ride a unicycle. But yeah, no, secretly, Mrs. Baker is jacked, just like Velma is. Josh, this is one of our ongoing things, is that secretly Velma is, like, super buff. Clearly,
well,
Mrs.
yeah, she
Baker
has to be to lift as much as she does and pull everybody out. So,
you know, she's carrying this entire gang in every episode, is she not?
She's the only one with the
weight of solving the mysteries on her shoulders. So,
she's the only one with the brain cell out of the 5 members of the gang.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I feel like there's a couple times in this episode where there was, like, hints that Fred might have some brain cells, but no one is used to him having brain cells, so they didn't give him a chance to speak. There were a couple of times where he's like, wait, no! Like, when I keep jumping ahead, but when Joker and Penguin have their skeleton suits on and they're coming, and Daphne and Velma are like, we both know those aren't real skeletons, but just in case, and they run away, and Fred's like, wait, no, just listen to me, let me speak, and they just, like, grab him and take him out. I feel like there's a couple times in this episode where Fred's like, hold on, I'm putting it together, but everyone just, like, doesn't let him speak, so it's interesting.
Yeah.
But then we come back to the farmhouse, and the farmhouse is gone, and so is the Batmobile.
Ethan, did you have any idea at this point? What was your theory on what would have happened to the house? Did you think it was hypnosis? Did you think they lost
I didn't think it was. I didn't think it was that. I thought it was like a Baba Yaga situation where the house could, like, get up and walk away.
Monster house.
Yes.
That must be the uvula.
Oh, so it's a girl house.
I love that you got the reference.
I saw Monster High. Not Monster High. I saw Monster House at a very young age.
That's another
same
movie that I rewatch every Halloween.
Mm-hmm.
I love that Batman's first thought is, this house and that whole experience and Miss Baker must not have existed. This must have been group hypnosis.
Listen, I mean, Batman is used to some shit. Like,
yeah, I mean,
Scarecrow.
That's what I'm saying. Like, with the fear toxins and the, like, rictus grin stuff that Joker's used before. I don't know if any of that stuff had happened by this point necessarily, but
yeah, I can't imagine anything like that. I mean, I haven't watched a ton of the Adam West stuff that this is drawing on, but I can't imagine really any dark stuff happening, because that show was aimed towards small kids, where it's like basically Batman looks to camera and is like, don't talk back to your parents. Right. Loitering isn't a really cool thing to do, teens. So
yeah,
I just feel like group hypnosis is a touch dark and random for something for Batman. This specific Batman to suggest.
Yes.
Yeah, modern Batman, I can believe being like, yeah, this was all a dream. Like, none of it actually happened. Woo.
Though, but speaking also, of modern Batman, there's a new like Elseworlds story in DC called the Absolute Universe. Batman's logo in this particular iteration is just a brick with spikes, basically. Josh, have you seen this?
Yes. I thought that the Ben Affleck's logo was already a brick with spikes, and this one is a brick on steroids with spikes.
Yes. Here, I'm going to find it.
You do that.
While he's looking it up, I love when Batman's rambling on about, like, this is obviously group hypnosis. He's like, was there really a farmhouse? And was there really a Mrs. Baker? And Scooby's like, yes, I think. Like, obviously just totally has no idea what Batman's talking about.
Velma's just like,
So funny.
but your car is gone, dude. Like, that's the real thing that we know happened.
Unless the group hypnosis started when you first put on the cape and built your car, or I don't know who actually built the Bat car in that specific universe, but unless the group hypnosis started before you were Batman and that the car itself doesn't exist.
Right.
You're also hypnotized to become Batman, if you didn't know.
Yeah.
This is an interesting just art that you have shared.
It's very Rob Liefeld, I would say, except this artist actually knows how to draw feet.
His head is so tiny in comparison to everything else.
I know. But the thing about that logo is that it can come off of his chest and become the blades of an axe, which is cool.
Oh, fuck.
Whoa.
Yeah.
That reminds me when, before the Matt Reeves Batman with Robert Pattinson came out, I saw a lot of like breakdowns of like the trailer and some of like the set photos and stuff released and the costume specifically. And it looked like the Bat logo was like built out of parts of a gun. Like specifically, you could see like something that looked like that's a hilt from a gun or something. And so people were theorizing that this universe's Batman found the criminal who like shot his parents when he was young, and then like took that gun and like built that as like part of his like vigilante, image. And I thought that was really cool, but then there was just like nothing about that, like no like even like really close up shots detailing like what that could be in the movie. So
that's super metal. I love that. But I did just share the panel where he does have the Bat logo as part of an axe, if you want to look at that.
Very good. Very cool. All right, back to our silly, goofy times. We have to go... Okay. Batman has to find the Batmobile, and how do we do that? We have to go to the Batcave, and they all have to be blindfolded. Now... When we started this group chat, Ethan, you shared a GIF that was like of this scene.
Yep.
What were you thinking was happening in that GIF?
Why?
When you sent it?
My thought was, why are they being kidnapped?
I know, it's so fucking weird. Like they all have blindfolds. They're all being put in the mystery machine, and in that scene also. Batman's like, oh yeah, we're all gonna have snacks there. We'll have some bat cookies and milk for everybody. And Shaggy's like, bat milk?
Yeah, bat cookies and bat milk. So I guess this is like a pretty popular GIF or GIF that people use. And I don't think I've ever seen it used, and I'm really curious what context people would use this in.
I just looked up Scooby-Doo Batman to find that particular GIF. I have no idea how you would use that in any other context, to be perfectly honest.
Yeah, so when I was watching, I had
the look on Shaggy's face. I mean, he's got like his eyes covered, but when he turns around, just like almost like it's like pretty metal, and so you wouldn't guess that he just like turns around and is like bat milk, like just confused. Right? It's more like I don't know. It's just a very like metal look on his face. So
yeah.
When I was watching, I had to take a picture of that to be like, hey, look, it's the scene. It's happening. It's weird. Batman drives the mystery machine into a road closed sign, and then suddenly we're in the Batcave.
That's from the Adam West show, I'm pretty sure.
It's gotta be.
I'm curious
now I want some Bat
the mechanics of the mechanics of how that would work in universe, because they're driving to the Batcave in the mystery machine. And so does that road closed sign just open up for any car that's right, or does Batman have some other remote control device on his? It's probably on his utility belt to actually open that up.
That'd be my guess. Is that Batman himself has something that controls that?
All right. So like that's like he kind of defeats the purpose of making it secret, and if any approaching car just like triggers it to open.
Yeah.
Nah, it's got to be like Batman and Robin have something on like their person that allows them in there, just in case.
Like a garage door opener?
Yeah.
Or something like that?
That makes sense.
Yeah. I love the Bat cookies. They look delectable. And then the milk is just normal milk, as far as I know. I don't think they milked any bats in the making of this episode.
You could technically milk bats, but it would take a lot of bats to make that much milk.
Batman milks
any mammal can be milked.
In his spring
That's what I'm saying.
I love that the cookie that Shaggy has is very clearly just like a sugar cookie or something that was cut out with a cookie-shaped cookie cutter. Yeah. And Shaggy's like very just like 2D outline of a bat. And Shaggy's like, oh, this cookie sure looks like a real bat. Like, no, it doesn't, Shaggy.
No. It's just Batman's logo on a cookie. It's not that
deep, bro.
No.
I think Alfred made this. I think Alfred made the cookies for them.
Do you think Bruce Wayne has time to bake cookies?
I don't know.
Alfred's probably so excited that little Brucey is bringing friends over. Like, oh, this never happens. Like, I'm going to get some snacks ready.
Isn't that's his whole deal in the Lego Batman movie, too? Is that he has no friends.
I think so. I think, like, yeah, I can't remember specifically, but Alfred gets so excited when there was the potential of, like, him getting involved with a girl.
Right.
Even though, like, your traditional Bruce Wayne portrayal is a womanizer.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
All right, so we figure out the Batmobile was disposed of right in front of a Batman and Robin exhibit in, like, a theme park?
The Gotham City amusement park.
Sure. They have just a whole Batman and Robin exhibit in this amusement park, and then across the way, there's a haunted house. So Batman and Robin are like, we have to search this area, see if this guy is, like, still here, what's going on with that. Scooby and Shaggy are left alone, and they sit in the Batmobile, and it's so cute that, like, Scooby is playing like he's Batman.
He's got the ears for it. Why wouldn't he?
I love it. He's imagining vroom, 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 with the wind, like, pushing him back, and then it shows in his mind him in a Batman costume, and it's just great. It's so, and then he's got, like, a big, like, cartoonishly toothy grin. It's fantastic. And then someone has to cut him out of his daydream too quick, and I wanted more. I was as disappointed as he was. It was cut short.
I wanted to see. I want to pan over and see that Shaggy is Robin right next to him.
Right.
Yeah, I was hoping for that too.
You know, he voices Robin, so you know it'd be really funny. It would be really cute.
Yeah.
And then who is next door at the haunted house but Joker and Penguin? And watching these episodes as a small child, I was just like, oh yeah, Joker and Penguin, they're just like buds, aren't they? Like, they must always work together. That's just a thing.
I think that's only a thing in the Adam West series. I could be wrong, though. Though, I don't know. This doesn't really look like Cesar Romero's Joker at all, because that's the one from the Adam West show. Not to me.
I mean, the design, and especially, like, the face is a lot more elongated, but I feel like the voice acting nailed, like, and his laugh was the same, and a lot of
that's what I'm saying. Like, the look of the characters does not look like Cesar Romero's interpretation of the Joker. Yeah. Though they nailed the Burgess Meredith Penguin, I think.
Oh yeah, for sure. Especially, like, the how all of the Penguin's lines were alliteration.
Yep,
fantastic.
Right. It's everything in here is very iconic and very good. I listed just both of them existing as a shenanigan. Like, anytime they're on screen, everything they say, everything they do, perfection.
Okay. It was, for some reason, when it just, like, pans over and you just see the two of them sticking their, like, upper bodies out of a window, like the second story, just, like, looking down at them. And it was kind of like a jump scare, like, in case you forgot that this was a Batman crossover episode, here's more Batman stuff for you.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But
more Batman.
If you enjoy seeing the Joker and the Penguin together up to shenanigans, then I hope you're excited for the Caped Crusader caper later in the show, because there's more. I mean, hopefully I didn't spoil it for you, but you probably could have assumed that if there's a Batman crossover, it's probably going to have the Joker and the Penguin and Scooby-Doo. But
they've
got great stuff happening in that episode.
Though no Eartha Kitt Catwoman, which kind of makes me a little bit sad because Eartha Kitt is iconic.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, there's only these 4 Batman characters in these 2 episodes, but they're amazing. Yeah, I think the later one might have even more shenanigans, I'm not gonna lie, between these 2, because they're fucking insane and great. But they have a haunted house, and they're certainly gonna use it today. Yes, they are behind this counterfeit money situation, because the clown is like the Joker's calling card. Obviously, it was related to him.
Yeah.
But I feel like that's weird because later we find out that they were given this money and these punch clowns by someone else. So
was it made clear like what they were do? Were they just like being provided fake money so that they could get concessions at the amusement park for free? Essentially, is that what they said that was happening?
I don't remember what they said.
Because they said something about like they're like spreading this fake money through the amusement park, like their concession stands and the games are, and I'm just like, so the clown prince of crime is just like swindling to get free churros? Is that what's happening here?
Listen, if the Gotham amusement park has the same prices as like Disneyland, then sure, go for it.
I get it.
Listen, do anything for free churros. Free churros all the way. So Batman and Robin.
That's funny though that but it's funny that they're in a universe where there exists a Batman and Robin exhibit in a theme park. You would think that just like showing, like if these are recognizable characters and beloved characters enough, that just like showing up in costume as the Joker and Penguin would get them the celebrity that they want anyways, and they could probably just get free churros because of that. It's like, yeah, I'll sign an autograph for you if you buy me a churro.
You would think.
Yeah. Honestly, they could have made a killing.
I do it for a funnel cake, not a churro, but that's just my personal taste.
Ooh.
Both? Why not both?
Why not both? That's true.
Not both? All right. We're not even halfway through this episode. We're an hour into recording. We gotta get through.
God.
We gotta get through, guys. Okay. Batman and Robin go into here, and they're no nonsense right out the gate. They're like, "That's a bed sheet. I'm not scared of that." But Joker lures them into this room. He's like, "I'm inside this room. You can't get in here. Wahahaha." And they knock down the door, and they're stuck.
Well, they fall into a pit with those punch clowns at the bottom.
Yeah, thank God there were some punch clowns at the bottom, or else they would have just, like, broken some bones.
You know the Joker, he's devious enough to trick Batman and Robin, but he's not devious enough to let them fall to their deaths. Obviously, he's going to provide cushioning for them.
No, but
Joker's not at all the kind of person that would gamble on the lives of thousands of people, by blowing up fairies or anything like that.
Or, beating people to death with a crowbar.
Yeah. Nope. Listen, the Joker is in love with Batman. He would not kill him. He could not kill him.
Listen, if the Joker just got in touch with the right therapist and, was able to accept that he has an unrequited love for Batman, he could get into the gay dating scene.
I'm not entirely sure it's a one-way kind of thing here, though.
I don't know.
Batman also could use that same type of therapy because he seems to be as much, if not more, obsessed, especially in certain portrayals with if the Joker just stopped and got help, I feel like Batman would be so depressed.
Well, actually,
did we
the
not
Joker
see the Lego
in
Batman movie?
No, that's what I'm referring. That's one thing I'm referring to. The other is, I believe, in Batman White Knight, the Joker does get help.
Oh my god!
Yeah, because let's see. Where's the?
I remember the one time he got a
TLDR?
therapist, and then he also made her go crazy, and that's how we got Harley Quinn.
Yeah, in 2018, from 2017 to 2018, the Joker is seemingly cured of his madness and set to become a politician under his real name of Jack Napier, seeking to change his name from public image, seeking to change public image as a villain and save Gotham City from Batman.
Amazing. Joker, how many times have you become a politician? Because this also happened in Harley Quinn.
That may have been where they're getting it from.
That could be. Okay. So the gang is like, something is going on. Something is wrong. Batman and Robin would be out by now. Also, why the fuck did Batman and Robin not, like, I don't know, go in a different way and just catch them? It's because it's a Scooby-Doo episode and we need shenanigans. That's why.
Mm-hmm.
So, Scooby gets some Scooby snacks and we go into the haunted house.
Shaggy complains about having Shaggy snacks, even though those have already happened canonically, but I guess they forgot about that.
They're not here in this episode, sadly.
I'm curious, because as you've been watching Scooby-Doo media from the Foundation, have you been keeping track of how many Scooby snacks it takes to bribe Scooby and Shaggy to, like, go into the scary place?
No, we haven't.
Because this episode, it took 3, and I'm just curious, like, what's the record?
There was one where it took a box, and Where Are You? I don't remember which episode that was, though.
Yeah.
Like a whole box.
It really depends.
Wow.
I think it just depends on Scooby's mood. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah.
So it's not not a direct 1-to-1 scale of how scary.
Very much not.
No.
All right.
It's whatever they're feeling works for the gimmick today.
I think that increases my respect for Scooby in a weird, twisted way.
I mean, I too would probably also require bribes to go into places I don't want to go.
Listen, if Scooby had a D&D class, he would be a rogue. So he has to be like, no, today I want this. No, today I want this. You have to bribe me to do this thing because I am just trickster guy. I do not do the big hard things. No.
Charlie, that's just your character in our campaign. Let's be real here.
Correct. Give me
Josh and listeners, Charlie plays a shifter who is a dog person.
I am
Ooh.
dog person. I am also a rogue.
Is your character inspired by Scooby-Doo?
Not
I don't think
at all.
so, actually.
No, my character isn't.
It's like unintentionally Scooby-Doo-esque.
They based it off of a character from Greek mythology.
Yeah,
that's cool.
I don't remember if your character's name is the same as the mythological figure's name.
Their name is the same.
Okay.
So, there you go. Feel free to look that up if you wish.
Do we want to give them the name?
My character's name is Autolycus because I love me a cool thief. Okay, so the gang is got split up. They did not mean to do it this time. Which is funny, but it still happened. So now we have our smart gang and Scooby and Shaggy, our scared gang.
Mm-hmm. We have the smart gang, the scared gang, and Batman and Robin.
And the
gang
duo.
Yes.
But then the smart gang gets even more split up because immediately they get spooked, which I call this another shenanigan.
I would definitely count that. We're up to 6 so far, and we're only halfway through, so we may be on track for about the same amount.
Yeah, just something happens, and they're all just like, Velma, you better hold my hand, Daphne says. And then both Velma and Daphne are holding the hands of this, like, fish person that just popped out of the wall because reasons. And then they look, and they're like, ah! And they're both gone, and Fred is by himself. But that doesn't matter, because Shaggy and Scooby found the quote-unquote exit.
Mm-hmm. I am going to count the treadmill floor as a shenanigan.
The treadmill floor is a shenanigan. We cannot get out of here because the sidewalk is moving, and it moves faster, and then slower, and then it moves the other way. And it's so funny. Scooby's like, I'm tired. I'm tired too. It's just so much. It takes so long for them to realize that the floor is moving, because they just think it's a really long hallway.
Like, just look down.
But Shaggy gets the door open, and then they go through the door, and then we're down a little slide, and then there's a weird thing on the ground that makes them spin. They're on solid ground. They're okay. They're gonna live. And they're on the same hallway that Batman and Robin were earlier, because they see the little bed sheet that they left in the floor. So they're okay. But
yeah.
Fred and Daphne are still looking for Velma. And now it seems, apparently, according to Joker and Penguin, the entire gang is in the same hallway. They're all gonna meet up in 5 seconds, which is what happens. Shaggy and Scooby are like, what's this? There's mean eyes in the dark.
Mm-hmm.
They really overuse the eyes in this little montage here.
Yeah.
Of like...
Or just Velma's floating disembodied glasses.
Yeah.
And then she just like slowly like fades into frame.
Mm-hmm.
I like that one because you get to see it turn into Velma. But the other ones, I'm like, those are just evil eyes.
Those aren't human eyes.
Yeah, they're not even the same shape as Fred and Daphne's eyes.
Yeah. So Scooby runs away. He runs into Velma. And then...
Well,
the gang
Scooby's
is
also
basically
dressed
all
in the
together.
bedsheet this whole time.
Yeah, he does in fact scare the others because they think he's a ghost.
I'm counting that as a
Scooby,
shenanigan too.
Yeah, Scooby as a ghost is a shenanigan, of course. But
I'm also going to count what's coming up now as a shenanigan.
Obviously, Joker and Penguin, what do? They're like, okay, well now they're not scared because they're all together. What do we gotta do? We gotta go out there in our little skeleton costumes and scare them.
This is just Sans and Papyrus. That's what's happening right now. If y'all played Undertale.
I understood this reference.
I
have not played. It's over my head, sorry.
That's okay.
I knew of the fandom. The entire gang is scared. Josh, you mentioned what was happening here earlier with Velma, Daphne, and Fred. And then Scooby turns back and is like, wait, those are skeletons. Bones? I'm a dog, I like bones. So he scares them. Chases them.
I may be a talking dog, but still a dog.
Still a dog.
And if there's one thing I know about dogs like bones.
Exactly.
Listen, if a 150-pound Great Dane is coming at you at speed, you're gonna run away.
Yeah, you would run for your life. He chases them into the exact same room that Batman and Robin are in. They are now trapped, and Joker tries to climb up, and he cannot. He's now the crowned Prince of Climb.
That hurt me. That physically hurt me.
You're welcome. We do a little bit of a wrap-up, even though we're not totally done here today.
No.
They're like, yeah, we don't know who actually made the money. There's somebody else behind this. Dun, dun, dun.
Yeah, so Josh was right. They were using the counterfeit money to just buy snacks and stuff at the amusement park.
I love that for them. Just like two little villain friends, just like having fun at the amusement park. Their little secret setup.
Yeah.
It's a really long date for them, okay?
Listen, gay people have long dates. You of all people would know.
Yeah, I'm still on a date.
Do gay.
This is true.
I'm still on a date. It'll never end.
That's true. You are living with your date, even though she is currently sick.
When they captured Joker and Penguin and they bring in the detectives to pull them away, which that's great. I don't know if you count that as a shenanigan. Batman's like, these are Gotham City's greatest detectives or whatever, even though Batman is supposed to be Gotham City's greatest detective. And he goes, take them away, boys. And the Joker and the Penguin escort the detectives out. And Batman's like, wait, I meant the other way around. And they're like, oh, duh. And then they switch. And that's a great gag.
But I love that it wasn't even like they were maliciously holding them. Like, they were just, it was like they were going, arm, and it's like,
right, like they were going down the aisle at a wedding, like they were bridesmaids and groomsmen.
Yeah.
I ship it.
But I'm curious, when this was happening, were you thinking that this was wrapping up the episode, or were you still thinking like, wait, what was the disappearing farmhouse?
I was still thinking like, what the hell's going on with the farmhouse? We're just not going to worry about that anymore. Are we done with that?
What? There's still like 11 minutes left in the episode. We got to figure out what's happening to the farmhouse. Let's go to the house. Guess what? It's back. It returned because they were gone.
Crazy.
Holy hallucinations, it's back. So the gang, or at least half the gang, and Batman and Robin are gonna go into the house and check out what the fuck is going on here. Scooby and Shaggy are like, no way we're going in there. We're gonna watch the cars. Which, not a bad idea, seeing as one of their cars was in fact stolen earlier. And then the gang enters the house from like two different sides. Batman and Robin go in the front, the smart gang go in the back, and they check out. Everything still is nailed to the floor. Okay. Very interesting. Very strange. What's going on here?
So we cut away to Scooby and Shaggy, where Scooby gets scared by a rabbit, holds onto a tree branch. This is a shenanigan. I'm putting that on the counter right fucking now.
Oh, it certainly is.
And Scooby activates the Scooby activates the turntable, I guess, that flips the house upside down.
Because they put this thing inside a tree. I mean, like, that makes sense to disguise it, but also, like, damn, that is some interesting hardware that they had to put inside a fucking tree. So
Shenanigans and tomfoolery
gets swapped to go underground, and now there's just a bunch of trees where the house was.
I'm curious, as you two are watching this episode, did you notice any incongruencies or like animating mistakes or anything? Because when I was watching it this time, I noticed at least like 20, and this is one of them.
We tend not to focus on those a lot,
gotcha.
Just because there's so many of them.
Yeah, for like another hour every time. That's the only problem with it. Because
I wasn't sure if this was because I haven't gone back to the older series recently. So I just wasn't sure if this was if it's as normal or if this is like the new Scooby-Doo movies, like if it's unique to that. But
there's quite a few in this series that I can clock every single one of them. Anytime there's a discoloration, somebody talks and somebody else is moving their mouth, like I'm just like, oh yeah, that's gonna happen next. That's gonna happen next, because I know a bunch of these episodes by heart.
Yeah.
It's insane.
This is just one that when the house is upside down, it flips into this underground cave thing.
Yeah.
And while it's upside down, Fred, Daphne, and Velma are hanging from the table. And then I think maybe they land on the ceiling. But outside the window, you can still see the trees and the lawn and stuff outside when it should be the inside of the cave.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah, I get you.
There's another one specifically that I want to talk about where just for some random reason, Batman is like at a bookcase or something. And it shows, like, usually he has these gloves on, but it shows his ungloved hand. And he's got this fat ring on his finger for some reason. I'm like, where did Batman get this big ring from?
I also saw that.
Because of the wide shot, and he just immediately has gloves on. So I was like, what the heck is happening?
I know. I'm like, damn, Batman, that's a really cool ring. Where did your gloves go, though? What's happening? So I feel so bad for the gang here. Batman and Robin get out of the house before Scooby and Shaggy are like, we're gonna flip it back up so we can get our friends back. And the rest of the gang is like, what is happening? We're being flipped up and down and up and down and up and down. This is not fun. And Fred's like, I've heard of revolving doors, but a revolving house? Iconic. So Shaggy and Scooby go into the house so they can tell Batman and Robin what the fuck's going on. And Batman and Robin, meanwhile, pull another lever that they find in the cave to turn it back up again. So the house is now underground once again. Fred, Daphne, and Velma need a break after this, I think.
They need to throw up, I would assume.
They each need a Scooby snack or two.
At least.
But we all grouped together. We're all caught up. We know what the heck's going on with this house. It's weird. And hey, look, it's the hooded man.
Ooh.
It's the man we're after. As we keep having to, say it's a guy.
Yeah,
it's
definitely
the man.
A man.
Poor Mrs. Baker. It's the funniest misdirect I've ever seen. Because it's like, everybody knows it's the same fucking outfit.
Right.
She's wearing.
It's not
the
that
color
hard.
scheme is not even changed a tiny bit.
Right. This is like minor 49er levels of laziness.
Yeah, literally. In that episode, what was different? He was taller.
He put on a fake beard. Yeah, he put on a fake beard, a big hat, and stilts. That's it.
But otherwise, he was wearing the exact same outfit. So, the hooded man runs into this weird warehouse, and the gang follows, and there's like so many shenanigans here. I could not.
I'm counting the toy dog shenanigan right now, but we'll get to the other ones in a little bit.
Yeah, we get the toy dog that starts barking, and everyone's like, "Oh my God, Scooby, what are you doing? We're trying to sneak up on this guy." And then we do an animal cruelty. We gotta put a muzzle on him. Then we're like, "Wait, that's not Scooby. It's still going." Of course, guys. That means the guy's here.
So the man tosses a giant green bouncy ball, like a yoga ball.
Yeah, to split them up, because they're like, don't let anything separate you. You guys, how dare you say that? Because what happens? They get separated so severely. Bouncy ball, probably another shenanigan here.
I counted it.
Yeah. So Fred and Daphne run up a slide, end up on a trampoline. That's probably its own thing.
Yeah. Velma gets bonked by another punch clown and her glasses get knocked off.
Poor Velma. The toy car itself, also a shenanigan. That's a shenanigan. She turns on the toy car, and then Scooby ends up on top of it, and now he's driving it for, like, basically the rest of this time.
Right. Because apparently he can't control it.
No, not whatsoever. I mean, he can kind of control it. He can steer it, but he can't stop it.
Yeah.
I think he can steer it.
Daphne and Robin get launched by a giant Jack-in-the-Box.
Shaggy was also hiding in a toy house. That was really, really funny. Batman and Robin and Daphne do some acrobatics. It's just insane how it keeps going.
Scooby knocks over a bookcase and a mascot elephant head falls on Shaggy.
And then Shaggy cannot get it off of him for the life of him. Like, he tries to pull the nose, he actually steps on the nose, and then he can't get his head up. And then he ends up walking into this Native American teepee that is just here. There's a bunch of them.
There's at least 4.
And the hooded man is right there, and they run into each other. And then Scooby's in the tent, and
I'm counting that as one shenanigan.
Boy, howdy. It just keeps going. It just keeps going. And now
they say one of my favorite lines for this entire episode, "We'll never catch him. He's on a unicycle."
Right? Right? He's on a fucking unicycle now. So they need wheels. They get some bikes. And now Batman and Robin have some, like, giant, they're
stilts?
Are they stilts? Yeah, I was like...
Robin was using them as stilts, but they use them as, pole vaulting poles.
Yeah, like, they're giant stilts, but then they pole vault, so they can get towards the man. Scooby is still just, like, going crazy on this little car. He's getting dizzy. Shaggy is on is it like a donkey or a horse or something that's bouncing to get away from the man? I'd like to think it's a horse. Yeah, we get a tiny version, I think, of the Doors gimmick.
Yeah,
going on there.
with seesaws.
Just for you, Ethan.
Thank you.
Just for
appreciated.
You. The best Doors gimmick is coming up in this series, just so you know.
Oh.
Or at least my favorite version of the Doors is coming up in the series.
Good to know.
Listen, I have a favorite episode of this series.
Is it the next one?
No. I have not seen the next one.
Oh, okay. But to conclude this whole mess, Scooby-Doo collides with the sandbox, flies through the air, hits
bouncing.
Yep, hits a seesaw, launches the hooded man into the air, goes through a basketball hoop and into Batman's arms.
And that's 2 points. And game. We caught the hooded man. It took so much effort. But now we just want to know where poor, sweet, innocent Mrs. Baker is. Where could she be?
I love that.
Mrs. Baker.
Velma goes, "Where's poor Mrs. Baker? She was just an innocent bystander in this whole thing." Not like, wait, wasn't she the homeowner of the farmhouse that was on a big turntable that revolved around this big open like warehouse thing? Like, obviously the person living in the house would have no clue why everything was nailed to the floor and why it occasionally flips upside down. What? Obviously, she was just an innocent bystander.
Obviously.
Why did no one put this together? No one had a brain cell today. I think that's the answer.
The Adam West Batman rarely has brain cells. He is not a detective. He is just a goof.
Like, we did not figure out who the bad guy was. The bad guy was like, I cannot hear you guys slandering my name. I am not sweet and innocent. I am a girl boss.
It was me the whole time.
And then we end it with Batman giving Scooby some are they now bat snacks, I guess?
That's what he calls them. Which are different from bat cookies.
Yeah.
Hey, maybe bat snacks are more safe for dogs to eat.
It looks like he just pours out a bag of rocks. And
Scooby does look like a bag of rocks.
It's like Scooby snacks, but gray. It's a bag of rocks.
Charlie, Josh, we have beaten the previous episode's count for shenanigans. We are at a grand total of 23. That is the number to beat.
Probably because of, like, that last situation.
Yes.
Because I hadn't written all of those down. And I definitely had less than the last episode before that.
Yeah.
I'm curious, Charlie, you sent in the chat that this episode has the shenanigan to end all shenanigans. So I was trying to think, what specifically were you referring to? I couldn't think
the house.
Which one it was. Oh,
the
just the house
itself flipping. Okay. Because something that insane I don't think happens ever again. Quite the same way. All right. What time is it now, Ethan?
It's terror time again.
All right. Josh, this is where we talk about some trivia about this episode of Scooby-Doo. We each take a bullet point and just read it out from the wiki.
Okay.
But try to read it word for word.
Yeah. So apparently there were 2 short scenes missing from all the official presentations of this episode since the mid-1990s. There was a short segment where Fred, Daphne, and Velma notice Scooby and Shaggy have gone missing, while the Joker and Penguin are preparing for the next time they scare them. And the second is a longer segment where the gang and Batman and Robin enter the underground warehouse and elaborate on the repercussions the widespread distribution of the counterfeit money would impose on the national economy. Jesus Christ. Why?
Because that's what you want in your children's cartoons. Economic advice.
I feel like most of this already goes over kids' heads. The funniest part is the turtleneck sweater.
Yes. The phrase Dynamic Scooby-Doo is a play on the phrase Dynamic Duo, which is how Batman and Robin were probably known at this time. Yeah. I have nothing else to say about that.
All right. The third one is me?
Yep.
Yeah.
Olin Sule, I have no idea how you say that, who played Batman, and Ted Knight, the Penguin, and Larry Storch, the Joker, reprised their roles, originated on Filmation's The Batman Superman Hour from CBS in 1968, along with Casey Kasem, who voiced Robin, as well as Shaggy. The rights to the DC Comics characters reverted from Filmation to Hanna-Barbera at that time. Sule and Kasem would later re-team as the dynamic duo on Super Friends in 1973 to 1975, and its many sequels for years.
Awesome.
Okay, I don't know.
Good for Casey Kasem. He gets more acting roles.
Good for Casey. When Batman and Robin try to figure out the true counterfeiter, they guess it's the Riddler, who would become the main villain in Scooby-Doo and the Batman, the Brave and the Bold, 46 years later.
I think Josh touched on that earlier, if I remember correctly.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know if it was this site that I was reading, but something else. It touched on the Riddler appearing over 40 years later, but it made it seem like it was more foreshadowing instead of just like a fun fact.
Sure.
So,
let's see. This episode and the Kid Crusader Caper, which Josh will be back for later this season. Unique in the Scoobyverse, show the bat insignia as the fade in and fade out transitions, similar to the Adam West show.
Iconic. This is the first time the word Jinkies is used, which is widely known as Velma's catchphrase, only it's not Velma who says it, but Shaggy who does.
Fuck!
Did you not notice?
Did you notice that she had not said Jinkies yet?
I just noticed that Shaggy said it. That's all I noticed.
I thought we had gotten Jinkies on the counter at one point before this. Wait, let me see.
Wow, I feel like I'm here for a pivotal moment in Scooby-Doo history.
I think you are.
I'm so honored.
Huh? Maybe it is. I don't know, man. I'm very confused. This is apparently the first episode with an unmasked female culprit.
Yeah, it took us this long to get a woman as a villain.
I mean, we had women as villains, but we did not have them unmasked. So
that's true. Mrs. Cutler was notably not masked at all,
as well as Sarah Jenkins. So
that's true.
So we've had 2 female villains before, but this is the first one who wore a mask.
Yeah. So June Foray, who I'm assuming plays Mrs. Baker, is uncredited in this episode. Which why?
Yeah, she's uncredited in one of the other things I remember her being in as well, because she's also in Scooby-Doo Meets the Boo Brothers, one of my favorite Scooby-Doo movies. She's in, like, the beginning sequence of that movie, which does not relate to anything else that exists in that movie.
Let's see. Which one are we on?
Second to last.
Is it my turn?
Yeah.
Okay, the scene where Scooby spins around on his toy car after knocking into some toys is homaged in the direct-to-video short film Scooby-Doo Haunted Holidays.
Oh.
I haven't seen that. Have you seen that, Charlie?
No. I don't think so. I'm not sure if I've seen it. Doesn't look familiar to me.
Okay.
The DVD release of Scooby-Doo and Batman, The Brave and the Bold presents this episode's intro uncensored, leaving all uncleared guest stars footage in.
What does that mean?
We're just skipping. I don't know.
Okay.
We're skipping the miscellaneous.
Okay.
To just go to the 2 cultural references.
One of Robin's interjections refers to Harry Houdini, famous stage musician of the early 20th century.
And Daphne says, come out, wherever you are," a musical line from The Wizard of Oz.
I did not know that that's what that line was from, and I feel like I should have known because of where I live and where I grew up. But it's fine.
Yeah, Ethan, you get a demerit for this.
I know. I should be the resident Wizard of Oz.
I can't say you're from Kansas anymore.
I know. I can't. Though technically I was born in Missouri, but I've never lived there.
You're not allowed to live in Kansas. You're not allowed to be a Kansasite.
Well, it's Kansan.
People from Kansas. Kansan?
Kansans.
Interesting.
Yeah.
That sounds wrong.
What do you call people from Utah, Josh?
Utah.
Okay.
Utonians.
Well, I thought that you'd go with like Utah University, like what they call the Utes. I thought that's just what you would refer to people from Utah as Utes.
I think that would be because there's the Ute tribe.
That
like all the land here is from. So
okay,
I don't feel like that would be appropriate.
No, probably not.
Yeah, it's probably not super appropriate for the University of Utah to be the Utes, but I do think that they have. I might be speaking underinformed on it, but I think that there's an agreement with the tribe that they can be the Utes and they can use that as part of their like brand if they allow like students from the tribe to like go to school or something like that. But I think like history has shown that the school has not done a very good job at upholding their end of the deal. But again, I don't know because I haven't gone to the University of Utah, so I don't know much about it. But
okay,
my sister-in-law is a student there, so maybe I should ask her.
Oh, okay.
So I'm curious. I guess not really curious, but I just think it's funny that the new Scooby-Doo movies treat like each episode as the crossover that's happening as if it's a guest star in this show that they're presenting, and then they announce it. But sometimes the guest stars are fictional characters, like the Addams Family, which is the next episode, or Batman and Robin, and sometimes it's just a regular guy like Don Knotts.
Right.
You know?
Yeah, it's very interesting. And then sometimes it's very interesting how they integrate it. Like in the last episode, the Three Stooges were running an amusement park / old ghost town / zoo. It was very convoluted. But there are other ones where it's going to be like, I think I can give this away, but Don Adams ends up being like, yeah, I'm just an exterminator. And everyone's just like, you're an actor, I thought. It's like, no, I'm an exterminator. What are you talking about? It's like, okay.
Sure, bud.
Yeah, like they give these like famous people these normal weird jobs, and it's very confusing.
Yeah.
And Cass Elliot owns a candy factory. Dick Van Dyke owns a carnival.
Okay, I think for Dick Van Dyke that tracks.
Yeah. The Harlem Globetrotters are just the Harlem Globetrotters, though. They don't need anything else.
Mm-hmm.
So, what are we rating this episode out of 5 Scooby snacks?
That's a great question, because like I would put it at a pretty solid 4 to 4.5 out of 5.
I was thinking the same. I was like somewhere between 4 and 4.5.
I would probably agree. It's honestly been a while since I've revisited these, but like the next Scooby-Doo and Batman episode, the Crusader Caper, in my mind, just at heart, feels like it's a step above. But I'm gonna be so disappointed if I come back on and been like, okay, you know what? I rewatched it. I don't know what I was talking about. I didn't like it, but I'm hoping that I can put this one at a 4.5 so that there's room for the next one to be a 5.
Okay,
but we'll see.
Do we want to take the average, Charlie?
So do we want to go like 4.25?
Yeah, we can
average?
do that. Yeah.
Let's do that. All right, and then last but not least, whose side are we on today? Are we siding with our villains, or are we siding with Batman, Robin, and the Scooby Gang?
I personally don't think counterfeit money is the best thing to do. Plus, people don't really use physical money that much anymore. So
yeah, how often are the villains in these episodes doing actual crimes?
I mean, counterfeiting money is a crime, but
no, I'm just saying like this episode compared to the previous episodes that you've covered.
Yeah.
Oh.
Well, the last episode it was uranium smuggling.
Yeah.
All right. That's a big deal.
Some of the ones in this series are slightly more crimes than just like, I'm gonna steal your land. Wahaha.
Which I'm happy about. Seems like I wanted some more variety.
Isn't there's like, I feel like man, I also need to revisit some of the Where Are You episodes, but I feel like sometimes it's like, really, the villain was just like putting on a mask and being spooky. But it was the meddling kids were the ones that were breaking and entering, and so the crimes committed are very clearly one-sided, and it's not the side that ends up getting arrested.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I will say, I would be on Mrs. Baker's side because she's a girl boss, but she did kind of try to murder Scooby and Shaggy by placing their car into that car compactor. So
yeah,
she endangered some children.
Child murder is not good.
I can't really be on the gang side because they were so dumb in this episode.
Yeah, they
I've seen better. You guys, I think I'd have to go on record saying that I'm on Alfred's side because he put so much work into those bat cookies and bat milk for Bruce Wayne's little friends.
And
he doesn't even get any screen time.
He doesn't, and he should have. Justice for Alfred. Charlie, do you agree with that? Do we want to go and say we're on Alfred's side?
I think I'm also on Alfred's side because he made those bat cookies and he milked
and presumably
those
the bat snacks too.
I love that he's like, I've been raising Bruce Wayne since he was a little child, and his parents were like brutally murdered in front of him, and he has this weird obsessions with bats. But I'm just gonna let him run with. I'm gonna make him a bat costume. I'm gonna make his car themed like a bat. He wants to hang out in a bat cave. I'll give him bat cookies. I'll give him bat snacks. he totally plays into it.
He brought friends home. I'm so happy for him.
You gotta have, refreshments if people are coming over.
Exactly. Yeah.
So that's about it as far as our stuff goes.
Yeah, Josh, where can people find you on the internet? I know you also do have a podcast that we did not mention in the beginning of this episode.
That's okay. Yeah, that's probably the main place. I host a podcast with my wife, Sydney. We started it when we first got married. It's been about 4 years. It's called Thanks for Participating. And we just cover things that we introduce each other to since we've been married: movies, hobbies, TV shows, music, all sorts of things. It's been a little bit challenging trying to record and release episodes lately. My wife is in her last year of grad school, and we just navigated a move where we had to construct a living space from scratch. And so we've had a really busy summer, and we still haven't figured out exactly how and if it will be viable to continue recording episodes and where we're at currently. But all the episodes are still up if you want to look for it. You can find me on Instagram, I guess. My handle is Josh is Rich with underscores in between. I think those are the main two places. My Instagram mainly nowadays is just me posting photos from my hikes. I've been doing a lot of hikes over the summer, trying to climb a lot of the tall mountains here in Utah because I am a Utah stan. I know it gets a bad rap because of certain cultural idiosyncrasies here, I guess, especially with Secret Lives of Mormon Wives coming out. But I love the beauty of Utah. I will fight anybody who doesn't think that Utah is one of the great states. And I love exploring it. We've got so much natural beauty. And so I've been doing lots of hikes and backpacking trips, and I take lots of photos and post them on my Instagram. So feel free to check those out.
Yeah, one of my best friends and his wife, they went on their honeymoon. They went to Zion National Park for their honeymoon. So Utah is very beautiful. I would love to visit someday.
Yeah, whenever you're here, we've got the 5 big national parks: Zion, Arches, and Bryce Canyon, and I can't remember the other 2. Capitol Reef, I think, and
that sounds
I can't remember. But Zion is probably the most popular one. Sydney's grandma, actually, or not her grandma, but her great aunt, I guess, her grandpa's sister, owns a little cabin literally at the mouth of Zion Canyon. Just wow. If you exit the park, that first little town that you drive through. And she lets us, whenever we go down there, stay in the cabin. So if you wanted to come over, just come over. But if you ever wanted to visit, we could probably hook you up and you could stay there. I know we've talked about going to a national park before, and I'm wholly serious about that. So
yeah, I'll see what Kelly wants to do, because I know we both want to do that. So we'll see what we can do, but that'd be great. Anyway, we've got some stuff to wrap up. So Charlie,
I'm certainly very hungry for some Scooby snacks of my own. Excuse me, I haven't had dinner yet. It's 9 o'clock here.
Charlie, it's almost 9 o'clock. Eat.
It's fine. Everything is fine. But for now, we are going to split up and search for clues for our next mystery. Bye.
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 You can follow this podcast's socials at Mysteries in the Machine Pod on Instagram. You can send a message to our email, mysteriesinthemachinepod@gmail.com. Be sure to give us a rating, a review, or let your friends and followers know how much you love the podcast. That really helps. You can follow me, Charlie, at GreenPixie12 on most platforms. I also have an art Instagram at GreenPixieDraws.
You can find me, Ethan, on Instagram and Threads at ethan.t.hewlin. Our music was written and produced by Jason Hilton. You can find him at Negative Selections on Instagram.
This is me rocking to your theme music that I'm imagining in my head.
Dude, Jason is such a great composer. He captured the essence of Scooby-Doo in 30 seconds of music, and that is just amazing to me.
Literally, it's so good. I would listen to an hour. I mean, your voices are also great, but I would listen to an hour of the podcast if it was just the music.
We might do that for like a April Fool's episode or something. Just
April Fool's episode, it's just that. Oh my god, we should have done that instead of Knives Out.
No, I think Knives Out was better. I think that was a better idea. But
all right.